Today we begin with the poem The Child by Tagore. I had already given you an introduction about the poem, and before we begin, there is a few lines to help you understand the background. Now, the poem describes one leader leading a group of people to an unknown pilgrimage through the night. And this group consists of different kinds of people in it: the young, the old, the king, the virtuous, etc. And at dawn, which is early morning, they reach a new countryside which is nothing extraordinary, and there they see a small hut in which a mother lies with her newborn, and they realize that this is the spectacle for which they had traveled so far. The poem is also about the nativity and journey of the Magi and the desire to see baby Jesus. Now, at that point of time, Tagore, when he wrote this poem, he was in Germany, and as I had told you yesterday also in my lecture, that he had traveled to different places of Germany, and he had reached Munich, and there he was asked to write an English poem, and this was his first English poem, The Child. And before that, he had watched a lot of plays about Jesus Christ and the passion of Jesus Christ. So, this poem is about nativity, journey of the Magi. Magi were the three wise kings who were led by a star in the sky to the manger where Jesus Christ was born. And these magi, these wise men, they had a great desire to see baby Jesus, and they had surmounted a lot of problems, a lot of trials on their way. But this poem also implies the journey of humankind through faithlessness on to faith and a new beginning. Now, the first line of the poem goes like this: the first flush of dawn glistens on the dew dripping leaves of the forest. So, as I told you, they were on this pilgrimage, and it's early dawn, and the first flush. Now, what do you mean by flush? Flush has a number of meanings, but here in it means to go red with emotion, and with emotion can be the emotion of anger, it can be the emotion of embarrassment, it can be the emotion of excitement. But here we are concerned with the color red, which is spread in the sky when the sun was rising. See, the first flush of dawn reflects. So, the light of the early morning sun, the rays of the sun are falling on what? On the leaves of the forest. And these leaves of the forest are full with dew, and the dew is dripping from these leaves. It's a beautiful picture, and the light of the sky is getting reflected in the objects of the earth. The next line he says, the man who reads the sky cries. The man who reads the sky. Now, this second line is or refers to a man who can forecast the weather, or who forecasts the climate or predicts the future. So, the man who reads the sky cries, friends, we have come. We have come means that they have arrived. So, parallel to this, whatever is going on, the beauty in nature, it's early dawn, and the people are going in this group, and suddenly this person who can forecast the climate as well as the future, he says that we have arrived. So then he says they stop and look around. Now, here the poet is saying that the companions kind of look around, they have a searching gaze. As pilgrims, you are new to a place, new to the environment, so there is a natural curiosity to know about your surroundings. So they have a searching gaze as though they are in a quest, as if they are searching for something. On both sides of the road, the corn is ripe to the horizon. Now, what is horizon? Horizon is where the earth meets the sky. So, what he's trying to say is, as far as the eye can go, as far as the gaze can go, on both sides of the road, they find the corn. That is, and the corn is ripe. The that time of the year is when the corn is ripe, and so is the harvest. The glad golden answer of the earth to the morning light. Golden, glad golden answer of the earth to the morning light. So here he is saying the ripe golden corn is the golden answer, meaning the corn is ripe and golden, and doubly because the sunlight is shining on the corn. The sunlight is also golden and the corn is also golden. So there is a double uh, emphasis on the word golden. So on both sides of the road. Then he goes on to say the current of daily life moves slowly between the village near the hill and the one by the river bank. So he's talking about two villages, one that is near the hill and one that is by the river bank. And between these two villages, what is happening? The current of daily life moves on. Now, current signifies movement, kinetic. Kinetic movement means it is about motion as opposed to static, which is sedentary or still or not moving. So the word current over here also implies the latent energy which is there beneath the life that moves on between the village near the hill and the one near the bank. The potter's wheel goes round, the woodcutter brings fuel to the market, the cowherd takes his cattle to the pasture, and the woman with the pitcher on her head walks to the well. So these are people you can normally see, or they are commonly seen in villages, in rural areas. You can see the potter, you can see the woodcutter, you can see the cowherd, you can see women with pitchers on their head collecting water. So this, as in the previous line where it said the current of daily life moves slowly. So life is very slow. People are engaged in their daily routine. The potter's wheel, it's a wheel which goes round and round, which can also signify or symbolize the routinized life, the mechanical life, and also the revolution of the earth, that is the passing of days that are going on. People are living their life, a slow life. There is the cowherd who every day takes his cattle to the pasture. There is the woman who every day goes to the well to bring water. There is the woodcutter who cuts wood every day for burning it and cooking his food. So he's saying that life moves on, goes on in this village. So these are the people, this group of people who's watching all these people in the village, the atmosphere, the life around, and we'll continue with the same thought in our next lecture.